Yes.
I just heard you talk about stress as well, and for anyone listening, definitely can feel stress and can feel these emotions just seem to really overwhelm us. So for you specifically, because you have such elaborate, amazing rituals, what is one specifically that the listeners could take away for stress?
Yeah, so I think for me, there's a couple of things I would recommend. Number one, with stress, it's about more than likely stress is normally triggered through overwhelm, right? Where
Mm.
you feel like there's too much going on, you can't do it all at one point, and so you try to maintain a high level of execution, you try to do it all, but you run out of time or resources of some way, shape, or form. So it's really powerful to sort of drill that down and just get grounded again. And one of my favorite tools for that process when I'm dealing with overwhelm or stress is just literally write a list, right? All the shit that I've got to go through, all the stuff that I've got, look at the calendar, take a moment and breathe and just go, cool, where am I at and where can I allocate my time and resources effectively? And if that means rescheduling some things or pushing some things back or doubling down on certain commitments as well, then that's important to do. What I tend to find is that the mind and the ego plays tricks on us. And so if you've ever had the experience before where you've been overwhelmed or stressed, normally you go, fuck, there's a million things I've got to do. And you might even use that language. There's a million things I've got to do. I don't have any time. And it's like your problems have got shadows, and the shadows of the problems that you have feel like other problems. And so it's like I've got 100 things that I'm dealing with. The reality is you're probably only dealing with 5 things, but you're not really clear on what those 5 things are. You don't have a plan of action on those 5 things, and so they feel like 25 things, which feels like 125 things, and then it blossoms from there. So number one, just getting centered, getting grounded, putting some structure back in your life, going, okay, where am I at? What have I got available? What time is it? Just grounding in the present moment and putting in place that structure. That really helps. For me personally, one of the things that I also find to be effective, assuming I've already done that and then the pressure's on, is a little bit different. I'm the sort of person where you tell me in the middle and the heat of it all to sit and calm down and take a couple of deep breaths. It's like, no, I want to go faster. I don't want to go slower. And so I tend to find that it's really advantageous for me in some cases to utilize that pressure or stress to actually further channel me into a deeper place of presence. So rather than trying to fight that or resist that or trying to sit and meditate about it and shift it, I'll just go, great, let's utilize that and use that as a way of going, I guess, further deeper into the task. And it's almost like driving faster in a car. As you drive, so you get a blurred experience. So I find that from a performance standpoint works for me. However, there's obviously some collateral damage that comes with that because you're not being present to a lot of other things around you as well. So you just sort of moderate that in your own environment.
100%. I think as well, it actually comes down to like even blood types as well. Like different blood types actually deal with and need to deal with stress differently. Like for myself, specifically when I'm getting stressed and overwhelmed, the worst thing I can do for myself is to go full bore and to keep going. For me, I actually really need to sit, ground, and for me, the brain's beautiful, but it is quite a simple thing, and I can only focus on a few things at once. So for me, bringing it back to my breath really helps to just ground me and bring me back when I'm feeling stressed and overwhelmed. And I freaking love how you talked about the list. Something that I learned not too long ago was write down your list of absolutely everything that you need to do that day and that's overwhelming you and things that you need to do, and then get a new page, split it into two, and on one side write absolutely everything that needs to be done 100% that day, and then on the other side say things that things that the universe will do. So you've got one list of things that I will do
Like
and
that.
one things that the universe is going to do. And
Nice.
absolutely everything that you need to do that day goes on what I need to do. And literally everything else, you just trust and surrender, pass over to the universe, because through that overwhelm, you're actually blocking and literally cock blocking your abundance. You're clouding your judgment and leading you to not be able to actually execute things. So by actually having that co-creation and that connection, you're tapping into that deeper power.
I love that. I think that's fucking great. Yeah. And look, if I'm in a particularly difficult place with it as well, then, working through it's not going to help. That might have to be, going to the gym, doing a workout, going for a walk. It might be doing cold water immersion as well. Just something that's really going to get me out of my head and into my body is normally what helps me as well. That normally does the trick. But you got to find coping mechanisms. And ideally, you don't want to just have one. You want to have like a dozen, right? There's so many different ways to deal with it. And it's about you perfecting what's going to work for you and continuing to innovate and to sort of play with that as well which can be really quite fun.